Hello, this is checkpoint 2, the slope and perpendicular lines. So this includes workbook 2.1 and 2.2. This is from StrongMind. So we come into here and we're just going to jump right into this. Actually, I'm going to teach a little bit about perpendicular slopes. Slopes of perpendicular lines. Just like with the slopes of parallel lines have the same slope. There are two things that need to be true in order for lines to show that the slopes are perpendicular both. They need to be opposite of each other. So they need to be opposite, meaning positive or negative. And they need to be reciprocals. So in other words, 1/2, if you flipped it and making it the reciprocal, it would be 2. Another way of making this so you can remember it is change the SIP to flip. So it's reflipricals. And if those things are both true, then the product, in other words, if you multiply them, product is -1. So for example, if I had the slope of, if one equation had y is equal to 1/2 x plus 3, and the other one was y is equal to -2x minus 4, we take the slopes right here and here, and we can multiply them. 1/2 multiplied by -2, bigger 1/2. So 1 times -2 is -2. 2 times 1 is 2, and -2 divided by 2 is indeed -1. So that's one way of doing it, or you can just look and make sure that they are both opposites and reflipricals or reciprocals of each other. So that's all we're looking for is opposite reciprocals. You might have to do calculations just like on the last one. So right here, we have this AB contains those points, CD contains those points, and are they perpendicular? Why or why not? So I wrote these two down. I wrote the steps down, and then I subtracted vertically. So subtract. Let me show you with another color. So I did 1 subtract 4 and got -3. That went into the numerator. So -3 goes right here. Wow, my pen's not working. And then the 2 subtract 3 is -1. And then that went in the denominator. And negative divided by negative is positive. So it's +3. Same thing here. -1 subtract. -2 is like adding 2. And then we got -1/3. Then we did our calculations here. This is their product. So back to this part, we have that, yes, they are, because the product of their slopes is -1. You can't really see that. So for this one, we're looking for opposite reciprocals of each. So we're just looking for -6/5. Then this one, we're looking for +6/5. +6/5. Then this one, we're looking for +4/7. So +4/7. And then this one, -4/7. -4, I think it's at the top, -4/7. All right. Then this one is asking about the slopes, and we want to make sure that they are perpendicular. They are opposite reciprocals. And so we just have to make sure that the slopes are the same. So notice that they all show that the product is -1. We just have to double check the slopes. In fact, it's pretty easy with this one. We just have to check the slope of line L. I can see line L as I go from left to right is positive. It goes up as I go from left to right. And so the description of the slope for that one, the rise would be DE and the run would be CD. So it's DE over CD and it's positive. So slope L, that's negative, not it. DE over CD, that's positive. That looks like what it is. I'm going to double check. That's negative, can't be that. That's CD over DE. So there's only one that has the correct slope. So we're going on to the next one. Oh, submitting. Okay, workbook 2.2 is the equations of perpendicular lines. And so it's the same type of thing as the last time, and I'm just going to jump into the problems. So it's like we did last time. I'm going to write down this point, as in checkpoint 1, I'm going to write down this point and this line, and then we're going to talk about perpendicular. Okay, so here I wrote it down. And all I need to do now is figure out the opposite reciprocal of this is going to be this slope is going to be negative 1/2 x plus b. Now we're going to put in this x and this y into this x and this y to get the next part. So I plug them in. Now negative 1/2 of 6 is negative 3. And then negative 1 plus b. Want to solve for b, so all I have to do is add 3 to both sides of the equal sign. So we have 2 is equal to b. So our final equation, now that we know b, we're going to put that in there. So our final equation will be y is equal to negative 1/2 x plus 2, just like that. So we look at our equations, options, and we have one that is negative 1/2 x plus 2. Next one is asking for the same type of thing. So we want, it says passes through that point and is perpendicular to that line. So that line is in the point slope form. But I'm just going to start by looking at, I'm going to write down the point 2, 3. And I'm going to write down y is equal to, so I'm going to focus on this slope right there. That slope right there says it's positive 2/3. So I know the perpendicular would be negative 3/2 because I flipped it. So it's going to be only one possibility that's negative 3/2. So we're just going to answer that and call it good. Now here is checkpoint 2, and it has this question we want to know, is that perpendicular y or y not? So I'm going to start by writing these points down vertically like I did like I've done. So I wrote them down here, and all I have to do is subtract them. So negative 2 subtract 4 would be negative 6. 1 subtract 3 would be negative 2. The negative 6 goes in the numerator. The negative 2 goes in the denominator. And then we just do dividing. So negative divided by negative is positive, and then 6 divided by 2 is 3. We'll try this one. So 2 minus 0 is 2. Negative 1 minus 4 is negative 5. So numerator 2, denominator negative 5. 3 and negative 2/5 are not opposite reciprocals, and the product is not negative 1. So coming back here, the answer is no, the product of the slopes is not 1. Okay, next one for me, it says what is an equation of a line that passes through that point and is perpendicular to that. So I see we have y is equal to 1/5 x. So I know the opposite reciprocal of 1/5 x is going to be, so flip it is going to be 5 and then make it negative. So it's going to be negative 5. So I'm looking for y is equal to negative 5 x plus b. I don't know the b, so I'm going to put the point 1, 1 in. And here it is right here. I wrote that down. So here's the perpendicular one. Symbol for perpendicular is upside down T with a little square in the corner. So the perpendicular line for that looks like this, but we don't know what it is. So we're going to put this in for the x, that in for the y. So this x and this y. Like this. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5 plus b is equal to 1. So we add 5 to both sides and get 6 is equal to b. So our equation will be y is equal to negative 5x plus 6. Negative 5x plus 6. There we go. Oh, I didn't actually click on it, did I? Then we want this equation, line A goes through that one. Line B is perpendicular to A and passes through that point. First, what is the slope of line B? So perpendicular means the opposite reciprocal of 1/2 is negative 2. And now we need to find the B. So I'm going to write down on my other thing, I'm going to write y is equal to negative 2x plus b. But now I'm going to put the point that goes through that one. So it's going to be the point negative 6, 2. Right here. So it's this part right there. And again, we're going to plug things in. This is the x, that's the y, into this x and that y. And then, so negative 2 times negative 6 is positive 12 plus b is equal to 2. So minus 12 from both sides to get the b alone. So we get negative 10 is equal to b. So come back to checkpoint 2. Negative 10 is b. And then last question on checkpoint 2. It asks lots of crazy stuff, but again, we can just focus on the slope of line L and it makes life easier. So here we have line L. It's also a positive slope, and the rise from it is from A to B. So AB over, and then the run is BC, BC. So AB, positive AB over BC. So that's not it. That's not it. That's AB over BC, but it's negative. So it's this one that has AB over BC. That's positive. And that's it. So that was all of checkpoint 2's content. Quick correction on this part. I put the slope is not 1. I should have said the slope is not negative 1.